Welcome back to Deep Rock Galactic. This should have been me dancing through the intro, but this jukebox machine right here is a machine full of demonetization. So we're not gonna play any music. We are just gonna run around here in our base as we get started with today's video. That was already way too long of an intro, so let's get straight to it. Today we're gonna talk about all of the things that you can do if you are new to Deep Rock Galactic and you wanna know how you can be the most effective for your team and for yourself in a mining mission. I have sketched a few different tips and tricks here for you guys, written them down so that I can cover them and remember them myself, because there is a lot of things that you can actually do. Let's start from one end, which is tips and tricks for before you actually go into your mission. The first thing you want to do is we have an assignment board right here. If you're new to the game, your assignment board will look a bit different because everyone gets a starting assignment as you begin this entire game, and that will just be basically, I think it's 10 different missions that you have to complete, but keep an eye out for which one is actually active right now. It will be the one that is flashing here, as you can see, we have ourselves a salvage mission for me right now. Once you've checked that, we want to go back to the mission selection here, and once we've done that, you want to check out for which missions you actually have to do this, because we have a salvage mission here, but we also have one there, and down there. The trick here is to keep an eye out for this little blinking icon, because that is related to your missions. And for me here, the salvage mission is right there. One thing you do want to pay good attention to when you do this is if any of these have any sort of encounters in the mission. For example, as you can see, this egg hunt has a haunted cave, it has volatile guts, this one has mineral mania, this one has parasites as well. So all of these modifiers will make the mission way harder, but also way more rewarding. So do consider what you are going to do, because when you select this mission, then you also do want to select which difficulty you want to go for, and the difficulty will have an impact on how hard it is. And if the mission already has modifiers, then you might want to consider just turning down the overall difficulty just a little bit in case you are new, because it will get tough. It will get tough down there. The missions are surprisingly hard. Another thing we want to cover, and this is especially once you actually get to the stage where you can brew these different buff potions, or buff beers should we call it, because we drink a lot of beer here in Deep Rock Galactic. These will change, and it is today's special, but I've seen these change each time you create a new lobby, so you can always look for that. Basically, when you buy those, you will get a buff, so always go over here and make sure to look out for any buffs. If you're too low level to do it, maybe you have a friend that you play with who can actually make these beers. If he can, don't forget to tell him to do so, because you want to get those. And it will just make life a little bit easier. As you can see here, we actually just got 30% extra HP. But if it is your first mission, then don't rely on having beer yet, and don't sweat it, because it is definitely doable without. We are now though getting ready to select a mission. For the most of you people that start, you will always start with a mining here for Morkite, if I remember correctly. And here we have one that is very easy, and as you can see, this one is a easy cave complexity and a short mission length. Won't be very rewarding, but this is usually where you start when you start this game. So we're gonna do that, and in here you can select the difficulty, and as you can see, there is a total of 5 different difficulties, which will give us bonuses, and those bonuses will increase the amount of money and the amount of experience that we get from the mission. We are just for this one gonna select the easy one, the low risk, and low risk is in general quite easy. So if you dare to do it, you can go for a hazard 2, which is the more dangerous one, but also a bit more rewarding. And I would advise you to do that in case you feel up for the challenge. As we get settled down here and we have reached our destination for this mission, you will instantly notice that there is a lot going on here. For your solo missions, you will actually be accompanied by, there he is. Oh, God. Okay, yep, that's also something you want to look out for. Let me just think here real quick what we do. Good, we got ourselves a ledge here. You will be accompanied by Bosco, and Bosco is your little friendly robot that you really have to utilize, because he can do a lot of good things for you. Before we get into that, let's just take one step back and do the very first thing that I advise you to do, which is check your surroundings. check your map, see what you have around you, see where you have to go. And as you can see right here, right now, it doesn't show us a whole lot. It does show us that behind us up there is a dead end, so we don't want to waste time getting back up there. And we have something to the right over here. So let's throw a flare there. That didn't work. We are the scouts, so we can actually shoot flares as well. And see that it is probably maybe also a dead end. But we are curious to see, so we are going to go up here. And that's my very first tip for you guys. Check your surroundings here as you land. See where you have to go. Get an overlook of where you can go. And then just, you know, make sure that you don't miss anything as before we progress. But we now have a pretty good idea where we have to go, because we have dirt down here and we don't really have anything over there. We don't have anything over here. So we kind of know where what the next step is. But before we do that, we do want to pick up all of these minerals. And this is where Bosco comes in handy. If he is, or if you are on a solo mission, that is. Press Control on your keyboard. You will bring up this pointer thing here. This can shout to your mates that, oh, I found some nitra, I found some gold. But if you're on a solo mission, as you can see, you can actually tell Bosco to go mine it as well, which is very, very handy. And we also have some malachite here at the very beginning. So always just clean up the starting area before you move on. Don't stress it as you actually move on. And speaking of mining, do mine everything that you can before you go to the next area that you have to be in. Because all of these resources will be very valuable for you, and you will probably be in need for most of them. The only exception to not mining everything that you see is actually your quest items and nitra, if nitra is, or if ammo is not an issue for you. Nitra is traded for ammo in the game, and the nitra that you find can be used to call down a supply drop, which will then resupply your ammunition. It costs you 80 nitra, and for a mission like this, I find it that no more than maybe just one resupply will be sufficient for you. You don't need anything more than that, because we honestly are not gonna expend all that much ammunition during this mission. So you should be fine, but it is good to know that you should, for as much as possible, always try to claim everything that you see, whether this will be different plants, gold, or whatever, because it's gonna make you much more rich in the long end if you just remember to get everything. But as you can see here already, Bosco is a very, very handy tool to bring with you on your missions, and the minerals are literally just dropping down to us right here. He usually just kind of flings them all over the place, so just look out when you send him for a mining mission, and he should be able to get most of what you need, and you can just kind of hang around and chill and let him do the hard work. As we progress here, we are trying to just get through this entire cave system here, and the easiest way to find out where to go, in case you are unsure of where you have to go, is simply just to look for the dirt here. Dirt usually signals that this is the way we want to go. And for your first mission here, the malachite missions, actually a bit unsure why we have dirt here too. I think it might just be the, that could have been another room that we could go to, but I think it's just this dirt that is sort of projected onto here because of the procedurally generated map. Next thing, and that is kind of a lucky shot, but I am gonna take it right here, is looking for other things that you can mine that might not seem very obvious, and these things will be something like this. As you can see from this area, even though it's dark, we have all of these minerals here in the wall glowing. This indicates that there are actually minerals hiding underneath here somewhere. This specific one here was quite easy to find, and as we pick that up and throw it into Bosco, you can see we just collected 10 jadis from that one thing. That is a thing that you really do want to look out for, because jadis is a material that you use to upgrade your weapons and likewise. So do keep an eye out for those. They do come in handy, and it is worth looking for. We are a scout here, so this might take some time as we are mining. If you don't want to spend too much time mining, I suggest you maybe go for the driller class, but all in all, I really found this guy, find the scout, that was a hard word, a nice class for solo missions, because he does have his he has his the gun here that I simply cannot remember what's called right now, a grappling hook. There it is. You know, the words just kind of bam disappear sometimes, but we're still golden, and there we go, 24 jadis. So plenty of jadis already, because we just keep an eye out for those. Gonna just pick up some more nitro here. As soon as we get 80, then we don't want to bother about that anymore. For this short mission, resupplies are rarely needed, especially on these safe missions. we encounter very few bugs. Usually if you go for hazard 2 or 3, you would have encountered a lot of enemies already, pretty much. So if you want a safe start and you don't want to bother too much about potentially dying, then go for the safe sort of mission difficulty here. And moving on here, we can actually see that we have some harvestable yeast cones here, and we want to get those too. And there is an enemy, speaking of the devil, and also a lot of materials. So the first thing we want to do here is just make sure that we can fight this enemy. And the easiest way that I find to fight these enemies is just to kite them around. And we want to do that just by shooting out this dude, and there we go, he is now dead. It's just one enemy, so it's not very hard, so just kite him around, stay out of this stuff once you kill him, because that hurts you. It is a poisonous cloud, so you do want to just keep an eye out for that. But should you get caught in it, as you can see down there in the bottom left corner, we have 2 bars. One indicates our shield and one indicates our health. Should you happen to take some damage on that shield, don't stress it too much, because it's actually not that bad. The shield regenerates automatically after being out of combat for a few seconds, so if you do find that your shield is low, just stay safe for a couple seconds, get it replenished, and get back into the action, and you should be just fine without taking too much damage. On the other hand though, your health pool will not automatically regenerate. You need to find red sugar in order to replenish that. So the red sugar is actually glowing red patches of crystal-like structures, which we can see right there. This is red sugar, and red sugar will replenish your health as soon as you mine it. So it is a good tool if you find that you are getting low on HP, but for now we are still good, because as I said, that was just a single mob. This mob right here, oh well, yeah, good thing that he came there. Actually has 2 different spots that we can shoot him in, and this is very, very important to remember, because if we shoot his leg there, as you can see, we barely dealt any damage to him, but he does have a green glowing thing there in the back and the mouth. If we shoot him in the mouth, we deal a lot of damage to him. And also if we shoot him in this green glowing thingy here, which is his body outside of the, or inside of the armor plating, we will actually deal full damage to him. So you want to get a position, or you want to just get in front of him and shoot his mouth in order to deal damage to the protected mobs. And there are a lot of mobs who has these like weak or soft spots where you can shoot them to deal the most amount of damage to them. You can also shed off some of the armor, but it's not very effective, so I would always recommend you guys to try to shoot off the or shoot them in the soft parts rather than try to take off the armor. It's rarely worth it. But moving on with the mission here, you can also encounter swarms, and we will see if we actually encounter one here. So I'm just gonna wait with those and just try to see if we can grab some more right here. And in general, just, you know, scout our location completely here. As you can see, we also have a loot bug over here. We want to just kill that, because the loot bug will actually give us lots of free minerals right here, lots of gold, lots of nitra, everything that we want and everything that we need. And now we hear a bug. I think it's this nest that will spawn a lot of these soon. Let's give them a cryo grenade and let's kill them. Bosco usually takes care of these small mobs quite easily, so we are not gonna sweat it too much. Let's just unload all of the minerals that we have right here right now, because we have a lot. Now we have a 92 nitra, so I am just gonna collect this, and I am gonna press 5 on my keyboard, and here we go. Supply drop ordered right there. It's gonna come down. Word of advice, do not stand on top of it. Do not stand on top of the drop location, because the thing is gonna come down fast, and the thing will kill you if you stand underneath it. So don't do it. Another thing, when you play in a group, be mindful about your mates. There is one supply thing here for each of you. If you're 2, then you can grab 2 each. If you're 3, then maybe just coordinate who takes 2 and who takes 1. But if you are 4 in a group, do not be that kind of guy who takes 2, because it just messes up your mates, and you only get 50% for one of them. So someone is going to be left with no ammo if you steal his, and no one likes that. So don't do it. That's pretty easy. But it looks like we have scoured most of the area here right now. As you can see, I am not really going for the nitra, because I do not feel like we will need the supply drop at any point. We already have 87 more Morkite, and we haven't really faced too many enemies. But we also did just get a friendly warning there that a swarm is incoming. We are going to try to defend this swarm, and a general word of advice is find a nice position where you can't get attacked from like down there where they will come crawling all around you, but sort of get yourself pinched up a wall here. They do spawn from the walls, so keep an eye out all around you. But I find that if you get like a nice overlook area like we have right here, light it up with a couple flares, then you should be just fine to fight these enemies. Not really seeing anyone right now, but it is, as you can see when we chose the mission, the easiest sort of difficulty, so that could be a factor as to why we aren't seeing many enemies. We have one coming in down here though, so we are gonna just wait for him and shoot him in the mouth right there. And we should be able to deal with him quite easily. Oh, and we have a grabber, which is... These guys you want to watch out for because they are nasty. But still just trying to run around here, kite my enemies to make sure that we don't all of a sudden get called out by them. That was not the best grenade that I have ever thrown, but it is no worry. Also, this rifle that I'm using here is not the standard weapon for a scout, and it's not really a good weapon by any means either, so I do not suggest you guys to go for it, but I am just messing around with it a bit right now to try the different perks of it and see what it can actually do. I'm not too fond of the weapon though, so in my personal recommendation, I wouldn't say go for it, but there might be some people who are better at the game than I am that can recommend it for you. But it looks like we mostly dealt with that swarm right there, so we are going to continue ahead here on our mission and dig through the next layer of dirt. We are halfway with our Mokai pretty much, and we are a little bit more than halfway with our Bulo caps, so that is very good too. And it does sound like we have some enemies waiting for us, so what we can do here is just... Oh god, okay, we have some enemies in here. We're just gonna pop him, and we are gonna let Bosco dig through the dirt here and see if we can find the way. There we go, he found the way for us, so we are ready to go out into the next area. Letting him do the hard work of digging here and make sure that we can sort of stay on the ready as we approach down here. Another thing to look out for is environmental stuff like this. For example, these lightnings will shoot lightnings at you if you get too close, and those hurt. They depleted my shield like that, and that is not something you want. There can be other modifiers like lava, and there can be modifiers like sandstorms and stuff, earthquakes. Plenty of things to kill you down here as you progress, so always stay on the lookout for different environmental things that are looking to kill you. We're just gonna skip through this area here nice and fast as we find some more Mokai, and hopefully Bosco here can help us mine all of this. And we're also gonna call the mule because we want to deposit all of the stuff that we have on us and get done with this mission. There we go. We are still looking very, very good as we move on here. There is only a few things left to do, and that is simply finish this mission. So I think I am going to try to see if we can do that. Just get all of this deposited, see if we have something else waiting for us down here. That's actually a very scary corridor for an easy game right here, but we should be golden. So having moved just a bit further down into the tunnel, I have now found a new rare mineral here. Sometimes you can get lucky, and these are already halfway out through the wall as they are here, so you can just grab them. Do you find yourself in a position where you maybe have to use your grappling tool in order to get down? There is actually one thing you can do with these heavy minerals. If you hold down your button, the release button or the trigger button, which is your left mouse button by default, you can actually also throw these heavy objects. This is nice if you grab these on a high ledge or something and you need to get them down before you get down yourself. Then you can always throw these, and once again we are just going to go and deposit it. And as you can see, that was a huge gold chunk, so we got plenty of gold there for our mission. And this looks like this might be the final room that we have to mine before this mission is over. So we're just gonna grab all of this bismuth here too, which is another mineral that you will use for upgrading all of your stuff. More Bulo caps there too. Just gonna flare all of this up and see if we can find the rest of the stuff that we need and jump over this lightning without getting too hurt by it. Gonna grapple down here, plenty of Morkite here, and the last of the Bulo caps too, I think, so that we can finish this mission. There we go. Grab all of this, and let's call the mule over here once more and deposit one final time before we are ready to go home. All right, so we have all the rest of the stuff that we need. We are gonna deposit this into the mule. There we go. Secondary objective completed and objective completed. Now, you would think, well, sure, let's go home. One thing that you do want to remember here, and this is very important, check your surroundings before you go home, because we haven't explored this entire cave and we might miss out on a bunch of stuff. As you can see, we have a loot bug right here. Let's go kill that thing and get all of the stuff from him. Looks like we are staring at some extra jades up here too. So it's always a good thing to check your surroundings before you call in for the drop pod. And once again, if you are in a group, just talk to your allies before you go. Don't just call in the drop pod and expect them to be ready, because they might know of an area that you have in mind yet. And if you just call it in, then you might miss out on the jades, because there we go. We just have 40. We just got extra jades and we now have 41. Gonna deposit all of this, and we do want to get all of the extra gold down here too. So we are gonna grab that. Besides that, it doesn't look like there is a lot left down here. Nope, not really. And if you're wondering, should you get the Morkite, should you get the Nitro before you go? Can you transfer it to the next mission? The answer is no. You cannot. So don't spend your time mining that. That is the only thing that you can leave behind. That is the only thing you don't have to mine. It is, at the end of the day, a bit of a waste of time to do it. So just don't stress it too much. Leave it be. Focus on getting all of the sweet minerals and all of the gold, and then you will be ready to go back, pretty much. But we have all that we need right now. Let's tell Molly to get here. Oh, we got a little mob coming in there, so let's snipe him. Let's deposit one final time, and now we are ready to push the button. We're gonna call for the drop pod here. We are just gonna let the mule here do its thing. Let's see where we get the drop pod directions, or we get the drop pod location. And once that drop pod gets in here, depending on what class you have in your party or what class you are, you can be lucky and have a high-level driller in your team. If you do have a high-level driller, he usually just drills a hole and you don't have to pay too much attention to the route in which you have to escape from. But if you do not know, or if you are solo or something like that, there is one very good trick that you should always follow, and that is follow the mule. You can get lucky and just stand on him in case you don't have too challenging terrain, but if he starts crawling up walls and stuff, then you will get kicked off, and that won't really work anymore. But for now, we're doing good. If you do happen to get lost, a very nice thing that you can see here, there we go, we just got kicked off and we're now getting chewed up by the lightning, is that he drops these lightning poles, and they include directions. So all of these directions will always point towards the way that you have to go. So if you see this pole and it's like, oh, do you have to go that way, look at the arrows, pretty simple. And he will take you where you have to go. So it's a very nice and simple trick to always be able to find your way back, but you should learn this quite early on. Otherwise, your missions won't be very successful, and no one likes that, especially not yourself. That will be quite sad. And don't fear not making it to the drop pod in case you're following the mule, because the drop pod will not leave without the mule, and I don't think the mule will ever be able to get there after the countdown. It might get close sometimes, but we do only have 5 minutes, so we want to keep up here with the mule for as much as possible. We are getting a bit low on HP, so let's just go and mine some red sugar. There we go. And we now have more HP. We didn't really get full, but it doesn't matter because the mission is almost over. As you pull back here, mobs will spawn, and a lot of mobs will spawn. So do keep an eye out for that. We are still, as I've said so many times now, in a quite easy game here, so they don't really spawn all that much, but they do spawn a few, and we have like 2 enemies waiting out here for us, so we should be fine. But there are a few out here that we do want to pay attention to. We have one crawling out around over there as well. Let's kill him, and let's just try to stay close to the mule so we can always find our directions. But we are getting very close, 43 meters away from it. So I think we just have to get up here, and then we should be able to see the mule. If you struggle to see where you are, don't forget to flare and all that stuff. But it's honestly not all that scary, so you should be fine for the most part. Here we are, gonna continue up here, and there it is, the drop pod, and we are ready to get back. The mule will climb on board, duck himself into position, and once you've done so... Oh, we have a scary thing there. Do we just kill that thing upon leaving, get back in the dropship, and we're ready, and we completed our mission, and we did it successfully, and we got our resources. Everything is great. Good job, guys. As we finish here, our victorious dude comes walking down the hallway. shows us that we completed, shows us all of the stuff that we got. And as you can see, we got money for the primary objective, for the secondary objective, a survival bonus because we didn't die, 275 gold mined, which also adds up to our money, and we got all of the stuff that we mined: jadis, bismol, yeast cone, and barley bolt. We will need that to craft beers and upgrade our gear. All of our experience shows out here, and this counts towards your character level as well as your personal level. So your character, which will be the class, will have a level, and you yourself will have a personal level, and you get a new level every, I think it's 3rd or 4th level that you get a personal level on your account. So that's how it works. We will cover that in a later video with the levels and stuff and what you should focus on, but for now that's pretty much all you need to know. And back at HQ here, all you have to do now is simply just enjoy your first victory and your first good game, or maybe you have played a couple of games and you just needed some tips and tricks. In that case, enjoy just knowing a little bit more about the game than you did before. If you do get back and you happen to get a level or something, go in here, check if you can get any upgrades for your weapons right there, or maybe right in here. There are plenty of upgrades to pick for each of the weapons, so a lot of stuff that you can get. But that has been it for this video, guys. I hope you can put this to good use, and if you can, and if you like Deep Rock Galactic and you aren't subscribed already, I highly recommend you to do so, because there will be plenty more content for Deep Rock Galactic coming. Stay safe, guys. Until next time, bye bye.